Hi everybody, and welcome to the Crochet Lovers Crochet Podcast, episode number 71. I'm Amelia, and nice to meet you guys if you're new here, and hello if you're a returning viewer. So, I was waiting to record this podcast, so I finished my blanket, and if you don't know what blanket I'm talking about, it's the Study of Ombre blanket by the Crochet Crowd, which, if you want to see it, you can check out last week's video. I'm actually not going to show it today, just because I only did 2 more rows on it, and I want it to be a surprise till it's finished. But I've been working a lot and I want to show you guys what other stuff I've been doing. So let's just celebrate that instead. So I have been trying to explore some knitting. I know how to knit, I can purl, and that's about it. I learned to crochet first, so I do something called continental knitting for those who are unfamiliar with knitting, and if I get anything wrong, just let me know. Which basically means that I hold the yarn with my left hand when I knit. And I believe English knitting is the correct term, and that's when you hold it with your right hand. But both are acceptable styles of knitting, and as long as you can get your projects made, I say there's not a problem. So that being said, I have been trying to explore some knitting. I can very basic read patterns, knitted patterns. If it says K or P, I know that's knit and purl, but that's about it. I don't know how to do any lacing stitches or cables or anything like that. I can cast and I can bind off, and that's kind of the extent of my knitting. So I have been trying to expand that and learn, and you can see that today. So with that being said, let me just kind of talk you through my process. So time frame, my classes have started already, and I know in podcasts 69 or 68 I mentioned that my classes were starting and I wanted to finish my blanket before then. Clearly that hasn't happened yet. So with that being said, I need an at-school project, and it's hard for I don't have any current small crochet projects. They're all big. They're like blankets, or there's something else which I'm going to show you later. And I kind of turn into knitting for at-school projects. And that's not a problem at all. I can kind of test the boundaries with knitting a little bit. Yeah, so let me just show you what I did. I have 2 finished knitted objects and 2 knitting work in progresses. Let me just explain. This is the first thing that I knitted, and of course I have to weave in my ends because why wouldn't I? This is not a pattern, and this was kind of just me knitting, and I don't know what actually happened on this side, but here's that end. Let me see if I can show you better stitch definition. Okay, per the usual, sorry if you're being blinded, but here is kind of what's going on with that. And you can't really see the colors, and that just happens to be an 830 type thing, but there you go. That's my knitted dishcloth, and I figured what other way to test knitting patterns other than dishcloths. But of course, this wasn't a knitted pattern. I designed this one, and it looks like I went from like 5 stitches to 4, or 4 to 5 or whatever, which that's not a problem. I was just wondering why I did that. Yeah, so I finished this one, and I actually think where I messed up at is where I continued recently, so my bad. And this was a ball of Lily's Sugar and Cream, and I can't tell you the colorway, but I can tell you it's a striping yarn. And this is how much I have left. Not that that helps at all. And so I did that one, and the knitting needles I used were these. These are, I want to say these are boy needles, but I don't actually know. And there's a number 7 on them. And the tops of them look a little different than my other ones. These just have the number 7 so I don't know what exactly that means. And then I have my knitting blocker thingy. I'm learning the terminology. Bear with me. So that was project number 1. And after I finished that, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to start another knitted project. So then I knitted Peter. This is Peter. Peter, say hi. This is a pattern from Smells Like Yarn. From Ross from Smells Like Yarn. His YouTube channel is Smells Great Guy. And same person. It's a free pattern on his website, which can also be found through Ravelry, which if you don't want to go searching for it, I'll leave it in the description box below. These are very beginner-friendly patterns, and I plan on hitting all of his patterns, all of his dishcloth patterns, until I'm able to increase up to the Ross hat, which I aspire to make one day, but I am not there yet. This is Peter. And I can't tell you what size is the right size or what yarn I use. All I know is that this was a Hobby Lobby yarn. So, this is the one side of it, and this was the other side of it. And there is that one. So I finished the majority of this in a day, mainly because I was severely stress knitting. And event happened, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna stress knit. And it worked out fine. And I can tell you right now, there's gonna be some mistakes in this, but that's the whole point of learning, and that's fine. I'm still learning how to tell what the different stitches look like. I know what a stockinette looks like, I know what a knit stitch looks like, and what a purl stitch looks like, but in regards to a seed stitch, I don't really know what that looks like, and that's like alternating, I believe. And then I'm also trying to learn what it looks like when you put a knit on top of a purl and vice versa, and all that fun stuff. I'm still trying to know it. So this is Peter, and I also started Ralph, and Ralph is another pattern from Ross, and I'm not too far on this one, but far enough. And these are the same needles I used for Peter. I love how they have actual names. And if you like these little stoppers, I got these from Yarn Inspirations. These are socks. How cute was that? But yeah, so I don't know if this is reversible either. If you know, let me know. Or if you know anything, let me know, because I clearly am struggling. I don't know if I like the way this yarn is being played out when it's knitted, but that's okay. Like, in reality, like, the yarn is actually really beautiful, like, streaming wise, but because it's, when you knit, it's like an orange top of a blue instead of like an orange top of another color, I guess. Like, I don't know, like, I feel like it could be a little bit. This one's pooling, the other ones weren't pooling. I feel like it could have been executed better. Okay, so this is a Boy 8 5.00 millimeter knitting needle. Almost dropped that. And so I said I cast it on 2, so I cast it on Peter, and I also cast it on this right here. And let me pull up the pattern before I forget to tell you. This is called Dishcloth Beginners No. 1 by Kathy Richards. And I have knitted this before, and I don't know if I shared it with you guys or not. If I did, it was a couple years back. But basically, this is what the dishcloth is going to look like. Oops, sorry, I just hit the camera. And there's 4 different coordinates. This is going to be like a stockinette. This is purl. This is a heart in the stitches. And this is just seed stitch, I think. I'm gonna tell you. But I know that I was able to read this and I like this one. so I'm gonna make this one again. And I'm not very far on this one at all. I think because I have the different stitch markers and the coordinates, it's just like not motivating me to do it at all, but this is how far I'm at. And the yarn for this one is Loops and Threads Capri Eco Cotton in the colorway Robin's Egg Speckle. And I actually did find the colorway for the rainbow one, and that was Crafter's Secret in the colorway Hotspot. So there's that. Those are all of my knitting patterns, and the hook for this one was Boy 6 4.25mm. And I know that these aren't the actual sizes that I need for knitting, but I'm at the point right now of my knitting journey, where it doesn't really bother me what size knitting needle I use, and I'm still trying to figure out what I like best. So I'm definitely taking into consideration what the knitting pattern says. But if I want to knit more than one dishcloth at once, I'm not going to be afraid to do one in a 5 and one in a 4.25. Like, in reality, I'm just learning the pattern and I'm trying to learn how to knit. So, okay, that's my knitting spiel. And then something else that's really exciting that I'm working on right now is I'm actually a pattern tester for Coco's Creations Inc. on Instagram. So this is her Instagram, in case you guys didn't know. You guys should go follow her. She does great things. And I'm currently testing her. I want to make sure I get this right. It's Bernard Blueberry pattern. And let me pull up what it's supposed to look like. It's the cutest little blueberry, and I'm so excited to test this for her. So yeah, there's that. And in size comparison, I'm just scrolling through her feed, that's all. So I'm making one of those right now. And the yarn that I'm using is Bernat Blanket Confetti in the colorway Stone Blue Confetti. And this is old. This was a limited edition one. So this is like a light blue, I want to say cobalt, and there's little speckles in it. And that's the yarn. For the actual pattern itself, it calls for an 8mm hook. And I have an 8mm hook, I just lost it. It's in I thought it was stuck with one project, but I guess it's not. So I have to figure out where that's at. But until then, I'm using a 7mm, and I confirmed with her, and she said it's okay. But this is how far I'm at. This is a no-sew pattern, which I'm so grateful for. I did the little arms already. And then I'm working on the body part. So I made the legs, and now I'm just increasing so I can get that big blueberry belly. And there we go. So hopefully, I know by next time I will have these done. So there's Bernard and his limbs. And then something else that I wanted to share with you, which it's not really, it's not special, I guess, but I don't know. I'll share it with you anyways. Like, in April, May, I was designing something that I could submit to my school's artwork book publishing thing. And basically it's for students to submit artwork they created, poetry, pictures, things like that. And I was like, I haven't seen any crocheted pieces, so I want to make something for that. And I kind of just brainstormed, and I want this to be like a flat thing, and I'm just like, what can I do? Because most of the items I make are 3D, so I kind of just brainstormed a bit, and I put something together, and I'm kind of feeling iffy about it, and I don't know if I should submit it or not. But let me tell you the concept of it. This is called Seasons of Love, and it's, I know you're probably thinking, oh, Rent, and I love Rent. So that it makes sense why I would name it that. But it actually has nothing to do with Rent. It's the name taken literally. So it's 4 seasons, like a quadrant of 4 seasons, and within each season, the items are made out of hearts. So that's the love part of it. And I know that it's not even and it probably needs blocked, but I'm going to work that out later. So I need your honest feedback on this, and I also need to know if there's something else for summer or fall that you think I can add, or honestly for anything. I'm accepting positive feedback, criticism, constructive criticism. There we go. Okay, this is called Seasons of Love. So this is spring, and there's apples on the tree that are meant to be hearts, but they don't really work that well, and there's heart flowers at the bottom and such. This is summer, and there's little grass at the bottom, a heart sun, and just regular leaves. Then winter one is the one I'm most proud of. There's a heart snowflakes, a heart snowman, it's so cute. And this is fall, and there's some leaves on the ground. What do you think? I'm okay with totally not submitting this, but it was definitely a challenge. And I don't know. Just wondering what you think about it. That was all. And that is officially all I have to share with you. So I just wanted to come up here and talk for a bit. Let's see how long it takes me to finish my blanket. That's all I have to share with you guys. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in another video. Bye.